and then they're out. But yeah, I mean, we don't spend much time because when it comes to insurance, I don't know if your insurance is like, I don't know, ours has changed a bit, but insurance costs a lot of money. People are paying so much money for insurance that they're not even using it. I don't even have insurance. I have heaven insurance. You know, I have to go with God here. But I mean, I'm in the Philippines. How is my insurance going to pay for me in the Philippines, right? I just have to have connections of people that I know, and I'm sure that they'll help me out, right? But we see that with insurance, people pay all this money, and there may not even be getting anything out of it. And then when they do have to have certain things, they still have to pay a copay. Do they pay copays here too?
Yeah.
Besides their insurance?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's and then if it's something really big that happened to them, now it's going to be a really huge bill, even though they've been paying for their insurance all along. So yeah, it's not an easy thing. So what we have to do is understand that success is any line demands a definite aim. And they who would achieve true success in life must keep steadily in view the aim worthy of their endeavor. So when I went into practice in my own place, in my own clinic in Michigan, whenever I would meet with people, I met with people for longer than 15 to 20 minutes at my office. And the reason why is because I wanted to know the person. I wanted to understand what they were coming in for. They might have been coming in for something simple or whatever. But I want to know what is your result? That was always my question. You're coming to me, what is your expectation? What do you want as your result? I had a girl come in that was very sick. She had gone to a number of doctors, and they pretty much said that she pretty much couldn't eat hardly anything because she was so sick. And when she came in to me, all I got is a piece of paper, and I'm writing down certain things, and then I'm figuring out what types of food right away, what things she can do. Because if you start telling people what they cannot do and what they shouldn't do, now they're just like, oh, what am I going to do? Because you told me everything that I do that I'm not supposed to do. So what am I supposed to do, right? And so I always think of it this way. What can you do? How to do what you need to do, or something like that. Because that's what they need to know. And so I'll write down the things that they need, like what kind of foods they need to eat, what kind of supplements they might need, or whatever. So then that way we're aiming for what they want is health. They want to be able to get rid of whatever this is and then be able to go further. And so I also had a thing called pantry rehab. So I might have had like this much of information for them, but I didn't give them all that information. I just gave them a piece of paper, and I showed them what I wanted them to do, and then I would go to their home. We would clean out all the bad stuff, throw it out, get rid of it. We would go to the store. We would get the other stuff to replace what they needed. We'd come to their home, and I would have a schedule for them for that week, what I wanted them to eat. I had meal plans for them to eat that week. And we made their first meal. We sat down and we ate together, and we discussed how this would be possible in their life.
Can we also do that here?
I think I will have to do a one-on-one with that, because what we're doing, next week, Shaw will be doing a lot of cooking, and she'll be talking about making different things. So our seasonings have to change. Our milk and dairy is an issue. Meat is an issue. And there's 4 things. I can't remember what the other one is. Oil, probably, or something. I don't know.
Sugar.
Sugar. And so she's going to cover those in the cooking demos. And I think this week she'll talk about food therapy or nutrition therapy. Yeah. And so she'll get more into the details of that. So, but that's very important. What I like to do is sometimes I'll give them like fruits and vegetables, all fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, or whatever. But I think people, what they really want, and to see true success, is when you give them a menu. Like, okay, this morning you're going to have a bowl of hot oatmeal with a couple, a handful of walnuts, and you're going to put flaxseed on that, and you're going to have almond milk, or you're going to have coconut milk or something. with that oatmeal, and then you're going to have 2 to 3 varieties of fruit that you can eat. So that would be your breakfast, and then maybe a couple slices of toast, and then you would have a lunch, which would consist of your grain. Well, of course, here you're going to probably have rice. So it'd have to be a whole grain rice. So it'd have to be black rice, wild rice, red rice, brown rice, right? So it'd be something like that. And then some kind of bean, maybe some tofu, that you would make sure that it tastes good. You know, you don't want to have stuff where it's going to be flavorless, because I think most people's idea here in the Philippines, from what I think, people that don't know, people that eat meat, they're like, okay, this is like no seasoning, barely any seasoning, and there's your food. It's just like, I want my food to taste good just like your food tastes good. You know what I mean? But they don't know how. So when you say fruits, nuts, seeds, vegetables, whole grains, stuff like that, they're like, okay, I don't know what you mean. And I understand the meal planning, and it's because when I first became a vegetarian and I went to these places, and I came home and I told my mother, she cried. She said, honey, you're going to wither away and die. What are you going to eat? I said, Mom, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. She goes, no, honey, what are you going to eat? Because in her mind, people are taught, here's your plate. This is how much you have here, this is how much you have here, this is how much you have here, right? That's what we're taught. So in her mind is, if you don't have meat, you're not eating anything.
Yes.
Because it's all about the meat and what you put with that meat. That's how people think in planning their meals. And so I came up with a program that I did at a dentist's office, which was a friend of mine from church. And we worked with his patients that would come in for dentistry, in his dentistry. And amazing results. It was a 4-week program. Once a week, we did something. And maybe, I didn't bring that book, but it's a little manual, because I have a lot of little manuals, and I'm putting it all into one book. I'm working with Teach Services. Does Teach Services sell books here? Maybe to the conference or something? I'm not for sure. I think. And so all of my manuals plus my 2 books that I put together are going to be all in this one book. And it should have been already 3 months in the process, but since I got here, I wasn't able to do the first part of what I needed to do for them to get started. So now I'm three months behind. But what I'm trying to say is that we have to know what the result is that people are envisioning for them. If it's to lose weight, okay. If it's for them to get rid of always having a cough and sickness all the time, okay. So we have an idea what they want to achieve before they leave, or to achieve during the program that we're going to take them through. And so it's very important. Just like the dentist. There was a guy that saw the dentist, and I was there on that Monday, and he said, you know, you got some heart issues. Heart, right? And he said, Dr. Julie's here today, and you need to go to her class. So him and his wife came. They bought the book, and they followed the book. They came every week, 3 weeks, because they missed the first week. And then, like a week later, he came in, and of course my book had my face on it. And he started telling everybody in the waiting room, do you know who Dr. Julie is? She saved my life. She saved my life. And he also went to the receptionist and says, Dr. Julie saved my life. Because he went to his cardiologist, and the cardiologist said, man, you have no heart issues.
Wow.
Everything is totally gone. He says, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And he even had a glow about him. And he looked a little buff, because he was a real skinny guy. So he looked a little buff, and he had a glow. And so he was there to get his teeth cleaned. And the hygienist, he's like, do you know Dr. Julia? She saved my life. And she's like, yeah, right. I know what your teeth are like. I know what I'm going to have to do when I start cleaning your teeth. So as soon as he got in the chair and he opened his mouth, she's looking and she's like, oh my goodness, his life is changed. There is no more heart problems. She couldn't believe it. So a couple days later after that, I come in, and the receptionist says there was somebody here that came through your program. Of course, we can't tell you who it is because it's HIPAA, right? HIPAA, right? I already knew who it was because there was only a few guys anyway. And so the girl said, yeah, he's had your book telling every single person in our place about you. And then the hygienist come out, and she said to me, she goes, my mother has this problem, my father has this problem, my brother has this problem, and I have this problem. I need your books. And I'm like, what? She said, yeah, the guy came in. He looked buffer. He had his muscle was a little more defined, and he had a glow. Like he was healthy, a healthy glow. She says, I want that. And the dentist, he's an Adventist, but he didn't hire all Adventists, right? Most of them, he only hired just a few Adventists, and the rest were non-Adventists. And so they're looking to him to see how he lives and what he does. And so our aim has to be truly living the life and making sure that we're sharing the eternal life. So I'm going to share with you the saving design is practice setting. What does our practice setting look like? Our office layout, interior decorations, literature and media, personnel, and our schedule. So I'm going to share with you, I don't know if you've heard of this, but be salty. Are you a salty Christian? Not the kind that's, but a salty Christian that's excited, yeah, that's happy. And so let's go through SALT. So the first one is your schedule. Making sure that you have sufficient time to spend with people. We're going to talk a little more about that. Ask heart questions. Get to the heart of the matter. The L is live the gospel. The T is treasure the promises. The I is invite them to believe. And then we see here, did you want that one there? And then the first part here is schedule sufficient time. The pressure and rush of business must not lead to a neglect of work of saving souls or soul saving. It is well to minister to the physical wants of our fellow men, but if ways are not found to let the light of the gospel shine forth to those who come, how can God be glorified by our work? So our schedule is so important. So we need to ask God, how much time do I need to schedule with each patient in order to have maximum impact for eternity? That's the key. I go to like conference as a key speaker for like women's ministries and all kind of things, health ministries, camp meetings, all those things. And my thing is, I also offer them if they want to work with me on a health level. So my question is, how much time should I spend with each person? Sometimes 20 minutes is usually what I do online.